Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats, talking everything to make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. Get some weed and now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. All right, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Dispatch. We are so very excited to have you. We've had it's been a big week, no? Pretty big week. It was election week, and while I'm thoroughly disappointed, the show goes on. We will continue to discuss things, and we'll save the real news for the end. You know, Trump winning the 2024 election. But we got some entertainment, some science for you. I'm very, very excited for that, and we can take it on in if you are ready. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up? What up? Always a pleasure to be here. Relatively speaking.
Speaking, yes. At least there's this. Is kind of how I'm looking at it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
at least we have this.
Yeah.
That's nice. And you know, hopefully we continue to have this. I don't know. We've said some things.
That is true. Are we going to be put in jail soon?
Are we going to be censored? I don't know. There's much to consider. But we shall see, I suppose. The damage is done. You know, I've said enough. But let's dig on in, and we're going to start with something a little bit disappointing here. You know, we're going to save the big disappointment for the end, but we'll start with this. Mickey 17 was delayed once again, from January 2025 to April 2025. I don't know if you recall, but in the creation of the schedule for the podcast, for 2024, this was before the year started. When we were still doing our 2023 lineup of director spotlights, and we were doing Wes, and then we did Marty, and we did Fincher and Nolan and Gerwig, and man, we were having a great time. I was like, let's keep the ball rolling. Bong Joon-ho's got a new movie out in January, 2024. So by the time this actually comes out, it's going to be Mickey delayed 17 months. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of the vibe we're looking at. I mean, I can't wait. I'm hoping that this is January's a little bit of a dump off month for movies. You're kind of filling a gap there. If you're the box office, it's just kind of like, okay, we're waiting for spring to roll around. You know, we're fresh off the holiday season. People just spent a lot of money. They're not trying to make it out to the theater anytime soon. Hopefully this is a good sign and not a bad sign. I don't know. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, is it more like the movie's finished? Like it's complete?
Long finished.
So this is purely a marketing decision. Like purely, yes. Okay. And the only thing I could see is that Trump is going to go into office in January, and maybe they just don't want to compete with that.
Right.
Marketing wise, that'll probably dominate the market there. But I don't know how much that really matters with movie releases and stuff. But man, I guess it would have been nice to have that in January to kind of just, I don't know.
A little bit of a respite. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's a distinct possibility that plays in. I don't know how much commentary this might carry with it, because one of the funny things that comes with the Trump presidency is analyzing the media from the last 4 years, analyzing movies and television, and villains in those movies and television are notoriously caricatures of people like him. So, like whenever someone pointed out, and it's funny, it wasn't the first thing that came to my mind by any means, but it's the first thing that came to some people's minds. The first Marvel movie that'll come out during Trump's presidency is one where the villain is a old white guy who turns into a giant red monster when he's mad.
It's almost just too fucking golden. I don't know. It's almost just like, is it more
the first
proof?
the first Marvel television show will be a notorious criminal who is running for office and somehow gets elected in Fisk.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
No
so
way.
like so that's one of those things where it's like there's you know, it's just a lot. It's just a lot, and it's uncanny. And so it'll be funny to see a return to form where he's back in office, and I am intrigued as to what that will do for art. The Motion Picture Association congratulated Trump, and we're looking forward to how to handle Hollywood issues going forward and stuff. So we'll see. We could see a huge regression to the Hays Code era or whatever. I'm not sure. But Mickey 17 getting delayed. Hopefully it's a good thing, not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's that they want to put a spotlight on it a little bit more. Robert Pattinson is obviously a massive actor. He's a big deal. Bong Joon-ho, his last film won Best Picture. He won Best Director. It's gonna put a few asses in seats. I just hope they're trying to put more asses in seats with this choice. That's what I'm looking for.
It is kind of crazy that it is almost 17 months, or like, is it actually?
No, it's at 13. I think it's at 15. January to April. So if we get it pushed back to June, then I think we hit. I think we hit then.
I mean, doesn't a summer release sound a whole lot better? Like, I mean, at this point, they're like, well, what's another 2 months? You know, or
what's another 2
months?
months? You know,
It's like,
I just can't. They officially released the trailer. I saw it in the movie theater recently. You know, like I saw it in front of a film that I went and saw in the cinema. So like, this was a wild decision. You don't see this often. Usually I thought because they put out the trailer, the release date was safe. Now, what this does do, selfishly, for us, is it frees up. I mean, we were already going to do our top 100 films of the 20 so far in January. We were going to be overloading it, or even ignoring the release of Mickey 17, if so. Now we get to do a Bong Joon-ho spotlight in April for the Sentimentalists. So there's that. There's the positive spin we can put on it. We get to cover some Bong Joon-ho movies for the Sentimentalists next April.
Hey. Anything that we can look forward to in the future that is a good, positive thing, yes.
That is a good positive thing.
Let's get as many of those in stone as possible. That would be just very
I'm there.
nice.
I am there. So yeah, Mickey 17 delayed to April 2025. We're going to put the positive spin on it. It's probably for good reason. I'm very, very excited for it. But let's go next to just a little casting decision here. Paul Mescal, who is famously about to lead Gladiator 2, coming out within the next couple weeks. Cannot wait for that, by the way. Is in talks to star in Ridley Scott, director of Gladiator and Gladiator 2. Ridley Scott's next film, The Dog Stars, an adaptation of the acclaimed post-apocalyptic novel by Peter Heller. It is reportedly a gripping tale of a widowed pilot, Hig, who survives a flu pandemic and lives in an abandoned airport hangar. The novel explores themes of compassion, self-protection, and human nature. So this sounds like it's going to fucking rail.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm super there.
I'm down with that. I haven't seen much of Paul Mescal, but I've heard just from Gladiator. I'm assuming he's going to be good. From you, just hearing All of Us Strangers being
there you go.
Good
how pull.
You
good
like
pull.
That. Seemingly a good actor.
Yes,
so,
yes. No, he's fantastic. I do enjoy Paul Mescal a great deal. Another movie that received a ton of acclaim that I need to watch so badly that I haven't seen, After Sun. I've heard just like that's a tear your heart out and stomp on it sort of film. Which you know I'm into, so I'm gonna have to check that out at some point. But Paul Mescal, he's definitely one of the hottest up and comers in the game right now. So him working with Ridley Scott, late style Ridley Scott, that's gonna rail. I'm very, very excited for that. I guess we'll see how that combination works in a couple weeks with Gladiator 2. But yeah, so there's that. And funny enough, something I realized whenever I was putting together a rundown, we have not convened since Tyler the Creator's CHROMAKOPIA dropped, which is now a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago. But nevertheless, it did release, and I love it. I've been blitzing it. I've been listening to it non-fucking stop, essentially. It's chock full of some brilliant composition work by Tyler. He is a unbelievable creative. Being able to put all songs produced, written, and composed by and performed by Tyler Okonma, like that's fucking awesome.
That's rare.
It's rare. It's very rare
nowadays. Yeah, and I saw just so many takes of like, this guy's been getting away with such shitty music for so long, and then they post a video or a snippet of the song. I listened to it, and I'm like, did we listen to the same thing?
This is hard as fuck.
I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, it's I don't know. I remember
he keeps innovating, and that's the important thing. Is like he doesn't. The artist I always point to as an example of not growing with every single release is Drake. He's been making the same music for 15 years, and that's fine. He's found his lane. It works. His fans will continue to grow because it's for 15-year-olds, and 15-year-olds will continue to like it. They'll age into it. You never age out of it once you decide you're a Drake fan. He'll just continue to garner more and more and more fans. But the way Tyler manages to elevate is always really, really impressive. I talked about this on the TikTok review I did. It was there's like eras to Tyler, where at the beginning of his career with Goblin and Wolf and Bastard, you begin to see a little bit of an evolution with Cherry Bomb. It's a little closer to that previous stage, but you're beginning to see that he's evolving. Flower Boy hits, you're like, holy shit, this is a brand new artist. Then Igor hits, and you're like, what the fuck, dude? This doesn't even make sense. How did you make Goblin? That doesn't add up. Call Me If You Get Lost is a bit of a return to form and kind of flexing on everybody. I can rap my ass off with the best of them over DJ drama beats. Fuck with me. I got it. And then this felt like the culmination of the last 3 or 4. If you rolled the sensibilities of Flower Boy, Igor, and Call Me If You Get Lost into one, they become CHROMAKOPIA. Which is super fucking cool. It's super fucking cool. And there's a lot of, it's fascinating to see him continue to elevate in a way that feels like he's flourishing. Like, this is, it feels like a grand finale, but he keeps on doing the next thing. So he keeps one-upping himself. And I don't know that I would strictly say this is the best Tyler album there is, because Igor will forever hold a particularly special spot to me. I don't know. Just one of those rarefied, unbelievable experiences on first listen and repeat listens. But he's a brilliant artist. I did secure tickets to see him live in February. Very, very exciting. Got me, Emily, her sister, and her sister's partner for her sister's birthday. I got us all tickets, and I'm very, very excited to go see him in February. So that's another thing I get to look forward to. Very excited about that.
Is it known who's opening for him, or
yes, Lil Yachty.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Lil Yachty and the band Paris, Texas. I'll have to check them out. I'm unfamiliar largely, but I know Lil Yachty.
Paris, Texas. Okay. Yeah, I do know.
Also
Lil
a really good movie, Paris, Texas.
I feel like is that an actual town too? Like, is there?
It is. Yes, it's an actual place called Paris, Texas. Yeah.
Is that where
their whole
from?
thing is that they're the other Paris? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know shit about Paris, Texas, the town or the band. I do know about the movie. The movie's really good. Classic. Harry Dean Stanton, Wim Wenders, very good movie.
They are founded in Los Angeles, California, in 2018.
Fucking phonies.
Yep.
But yeah, no. So I'm very, very excited for that. It was another great release for Tyler, and a brilliant rollout. Just blunt with it. I'm dropping an album in 2 weeks. Let's fucking go. Single. Here's the set list the set list for Camp Flog Gnaw, my festival every year. Here's my tour dates. Album drops. It sells 300,000 units in first week. On a Monday release, which is fucking nuts.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, he went back to form, back to just original fucking, I don't know, just the way it kind of used to be, and it seemed to work. So
yes, it did. Yes, it did. He went number 1 and had the biggest rap debut for an album of the year, by like a lot. It wasn't even close. He was putting on, but Yeah, so Tyler's CHROMAKOPIA, 10 out of 10. Fucking love it. If you could check it out, you should. Top to bottom. Fucking awesome. But then we will conclude entertainment. Nice and short. I usually don't wrap us up here at about this time, but in entertainment, we only got one more thing. Star Wars episodes 10 through 12 are reportedly in the works. Now, there are disputes as to whether or not this is an actual continuation of the Star Wars saga. However, it is confirmed that Simon Kinberg is writing a trilogy.
Simon Kinberg.
You will not like the credits he has. Dark Phoenix, Apocalypse, the X-Men: The Last Stand, Fantastic Four from 2015. It's ugly. This is a little bit scary. However, Simon Kinberg is the executive producer for Star Wars Rebels. So, he at least gets it. He at least gets it. And one thing we can take a little bit of solace from in his work with Marvel is that Fox was notoriously hands-on with those productions. The corporate influence was large on those movies. And frankly, when it came to Dark Phoenix and Apocalypse, me and you particularly have never really had huge problems with those movies. We can recognize that they're not as good. And the same with The Last Stand. The Last Stand's last act is fucking awful, but it's just because it hits the gas and all of a sudden you're like, holy shit. The Dark Phoenix had studio interference that it was supposed to be 2 movies. It got reduced into 1, which is why it feels like nothing. It just breezes by you. The Last Stand pretty much had the same problem where it got cut down and it was like, wow, we really skipped a lot of story there. But at its heart, he does, that's why I think that this will be okay. I don't think it'll be 10 through 12. Unless this is the Rey. There was recently reports that Rey's writer got axed. He left his production. So there is the possibility that this is the new-found Rey trilogy basis.
Is it possible that this is the prequels to the sequels, which I know sounds like the original trilogy, but like in the gap, but in between the OT and sequels.
I feel like that's kind of what Favreau and Filoni are wanting to do right now, with the Heir to the Empire stuff.
Okay, so yeah, we kind of get that just by the shows and then the movie that ends it all, I guess. With the Mando
that's why I'm like, I don't know. It's we're in a really weird spot. Simon Kinberg. The most encouraging thing is that he is the executive producer for Rebels. It looks that being the case is huge.
I don't know if he was the main producer on Logan, but it says he worked on Logan and The Martian as well. So there's like some movies that are somewhat decent, but yeah, the executive producer on Deadpool and Wolverine, that's his most recent work.
That's a really good example of why he probably gets producer credits on stuff like that, is because he did such important work early on in the character's development for Fox.
I see. So he didn't really work on Logan probably too
There's
heavily,
a distinct possibility he didn't work on those things that much, but he gets and there is and producing credits are always bizarre. They could either have had the heaviest hand possible in the creation of the movie, or they had nearly no impact on the film. There's like no way to know unless you know. Because either producers are incredibly hands-on and they're making things happen and they're making the movie tick, they're making it work, or they were just like, fuck it, we'll throw him a producer credit, satisfy him. Like it was in his contract, we gotta say he produced it.
I guess I was kind of operating that this was like the director that they chose. That's kind of like I feel like that's the bigger decision to kind of choose, but I don't know. I feel like the producer for the entire trilogy, that's a pretty big decision there.
Well, and he's writing it. Writing it. So,
okay.
That's why I'm like, and frankly, when it came to the things that I have issues with that he has written, it's not because of the writing, it's because of the pacing. It's because of how quickly it develops. And if, if Dark Phoenix is supposed to be a trilogy and they're giving this guy the means to write a full fucking trilogy off rip, I have faith that it can be good, maybe I'm a little too optimistic, but I think that, this is one of the first things in a while that Star Wars has announced, aside from the Rey movie, and it might be one and the same with the Rey movie now, we don't know, that I'm confident will happen. Usually they announce something and I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, true.
Sure. But when we get a trailer, that's when I'll go, you know what, that's real.
Yeah, I guess.
And the Rey movie's been getting more and more concerning. I really hope that happens. Daisy Ridley is fantastic, and I would hate to see her led astray on something like that, because she deserves all the work in the world. She is so fucking good at acting, and I really want her to get her movie made. But
I feel like she'll have the Hayden Christensen arc, of where everyone kind of hated them at first, but then there's all the people grow up, the kids grow up that loved her their whole lives, and I don't know, it's just all the annoying older people go away. But
the last couple days, I watched Revenge of the Sith on Wednesday, obvious reasons there, and then I watched the Rise of Skywalker after that. That was the one I wanted to follow it up with, which is a little bit odd, out of order, but the rise of fascism, the collapse of fascism. It's a nice little duology, actually. But
wow, yeah,
Daisy Ridley and Hayden Christensen. That's a really, really good example of who they can be. They can be compared to each other wonderfully. And it's fascinating that they are completely different performers with completely different writing material, but they have to struggle through just okay writing material. They both have that. It's funny to watch them elevate the material they are performing. And, Daisy Ridley, she holds a special place in my heart. I love Rey, and I love her as a performer. So if this is the Rey trilogy, I'm gonna be optimistic until I am proven to be wrong,
I mean, saying 10 through 12, that's, I don't know, saying those numbers I mean, yes, they are just the 10th, 11th, and 12th movie, but I don't know.
Well, there are conflicting reports, though. Like, there are some people saying it is 10, 11, 12, and there are other people saying it is not a continuation of the Skywalker saga. Like, it is, and this is all rumors right now. This is not confirmed.
Oh, okay.
I believe it was Deadline that reported this, and Deadline's pretty reliable, but they do operate on rumors sometimes. But this does feel pretty substantiated. The thing that doesn't feel super substantiated is the 10 through 12, or if it's a continuation of that story. I'm pretty confident Simon Kinberg is going to be writing a Star Wars trilogy, though. Like, that feels... That feels like that's something he is absolutely working on.
What is that one website that checks all the new trademarks or something like that?
Production Weekly.
Yeah, I wonder if there was something new of Star Wars, I don't know, on there, if they decided to slap home a trilogy of sorts. Nothing on the page today. I typed in star. Nothing at all.
Nothing. It'll happen if it happens. I'm not holding out intense hope that it will occur, but it feels real. One thing that this does kind of dead in the water for me, and if it hadn't already been dead in the water, is the Rian Johnson trilogy. No fucking shot that ever happens.
Yeah,
God, I wish it would, though. God, I wish it would. That would be so fucking nice.
With all of these movies, like the Mando and Grogu movie, the Rey was just supposed to get one movie, but now she might be getting a trilogy, but then it might be completely disconnected. And then it's like, I don't know. There's too many movies, too many shows.
Well, and that's the thing, is that if Rey gets a movie, it's naturally a continuation of the Skywalker saga, no? Like, she was in the fucking movies. That's why I'm like, I don't know. It's a lot right now. One thing that I think Star Wars desperately needs is to take a fucking year off, man. I do. I know that they can't do it. I know that they can't afford to. That's like one of their fucking cash cows. But, man, if we missed Star Wars for a year, I would fucking love it. I would love missing Star Wars for a year, you know?
Yeah.
I'm glad we haven't seen a movie in 9 years. Not 9 years, 5 years. But it's been 9 years since The Force Awakens, which is crazy.
Wait, it's been 5 years though? Like, actually?
It will be in December.
Oh,
it will be in December.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's actually kind of crazy. But 9 years since The Force Awakens is even crazy. That's nuts. But
that
I guess
makes me feel like just fucking decrepit.
I guess say we were to get say this is credible in a real we're for sure getting a new trilogy. We don't know what story it's going to be. But like, when do you think the earliest release of this could be? When would the first movie come out? You know, it's probably not going to be
writing now. If he's just signed on to write it, late 2024. Say he finishes the script for the first movie within the year. 2025. Production goes in early 2026. 2027, I think, would be the absolute earliest we saw it.
Yeah, so I mean, it still gives them the time to release their other movies. Like, it's possible that they do release the Mando Grogu movie and just a Rey movie, and then decide to go with, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, the Mando Grogu movie is next year. Like, that thing is done. We are seeing that next year.
That's so
I'm pretty sure.
And like, exactly, what are we? Like, is it? We got a trailer.
Well, I can't remember if it's 2025 or 2026.
Yeah,
it might be 2026 now that I'm thinking of it.
2026. Damn. Yeah, okay. May 22nd, 2026.
Yeah, that recently wrapped filming, like within the last couple weeks, I think.
Man, yeah, holy shit. So, was the Rey movie the movie that was planned for 2025, if there was one? Or is there a movie?
No, I don't think there was one for 2025. Production for the Rey movie was supposed to begin early 2025. Like, they were supposed to get it popping. But since the writer left the project, that's probably not the case anymore. Yeah, I think that the best hope for that one was December 2026, you know? Like, I think that was... Damn. If we were going to get it, it would have been 6 months after Mando and Grogu, which is the last time they did that. Shit didn't go well. Last time they did a 6-month gap between movies was The Last Jedi and Solo underperformed, and they were like, well, we'll never do that again. It killed Star Wars stories dead on arrival, you know? Like, that's... Yeah, and it's because they fucking didn't market it. It was a disaster. It was like Lucasfilm needs to get their fucking shit together. You know, that's the bottom line.
Yeah, I guess I'll hold faith, you know, in Simon. I don't want to just shoot this trilogy down and, you know, immediately.
Oh, fuck no.
But man,
I mean, like I said, Simon Kinberg is the executive producer of Star Wars Rebels. That's that grants me as much faith in you as is pretty much possible in Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is such a good show, and we're covering it every week on Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast right now, so you better go check that out. Yeah, man, I don't know. I have faith that this can be really good, whether it is a Rey trilogy or not. It feels, I feel like that's probably what it's going to be. The nightmare scenario is that Simon Kinberg writes it, Sean Levy directs it, and we're fucked. Because rumors are that Sean Levy's going to direct a Star Wars movie too, which let's see. I'd rather the world ended.
What do I know him from?
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, okay. So, wow, the tag team duo, the producer. Okay, wow. Yeah, this. Let's.
Nightmare material there. Really hope that doesn't happen.
A producer on Arrival. Who knows? Again, a producer tag. That's just one movie I do love. I guess, but yeah, look at everything else. Yeah, Free Guy, The Atom Project.
Yeah. It's all really forgettable. It's all really bland. It's all really nothing, and that's why it's like, you know, I don't like that. I don't like that. But hey, they'll figure it out, man. They'll figure it out. I just, you know, Mandalorian and Grogu being the conclusion. I think they've officially confirmed it will be the conclusion of their story, Din and Grogu's. Okay. The characters will probably still pop up in other things, but they will not continue their narrative via The Mandalorian. I'm pretty sure Actually, it's kind of crazy. I think season 3 was the last season of The Mandalorian, which is fucking nuts now, looking back at it.
Yeah. Like, that's...
Well, and actually, might be the best possible fucking ending. They just end up chilling on Navarro. Mandalore's back in the hands of Mandalorians. It's good. It's good. You know, like, so, like, maybe it is just a good fucking ending for the show. We thought it was, like, I remember when we were covering it, we were like, cut it off. Shut it up. This is it. It's over.
Yeah,
but
that's true. Yeah, we were like, let's never see them again. They can just live out their days in this hut.
Now, we are going to see them again, which is the problem. Now, we'll see, though. We'll see.
Oh, man, yeah, Star Wars is just in such a weird state right now.
It's a weird place, because I do love it, you know? Like, they still haven't released something that I outwardly dislike. You know, like, I'm like, wow, I do not like that. I do not. They've released things that I think are a bit nothing. You know, they've released things that I think are a bit just, okay. Mm-hmm. You know, but they haven't released anything that I'm like, oh, this is bad. I do not like this, you know? It's all been something, you know, so at least movie-wise, they haven't missed for me, you know? Even when I was rewatching The Rise of Skywalker, I was like, this is the movie that is the most popular to go, wow, this is garbage, and my Star Wars blinding goggles are on. I can't see what's wrong with it. You know, like, I can't. And I recognize that there are flaws. Every movie has flaws. It's written a little oddly. There is obviously a bit of a nostalgia pull there. But, like, I don't know. I like it. I love that movie, man. I love Rey. I love Kylo. I love Finn. I love Poe. It's just, it's hard for me to go, yeah, I don't like this movie.
Is there just a natural progression that every Star Wars trilogy takes? Well, maybe not the original trilogy. It was pretty heralded right away, right? There was no like, oh, this is trash, and then 10 years later, people were like, oh, wait a minute, no, this is actually fucking golden. Like, it was...
Return of the Jedi was kind of not loved when it initially came out. Okay. I don't know how long it took for it to become loved. I just know that it was initially ill received.
Mm-hmm. So just like how Hayden Christensen was hated at first and now heralded, you know, and everyone loves him now, Rey, hopefully, and Daisy Ridley will get the same treatment. But I wonder if the movies themselves will do the same thing. Because the prequels, you know, we recognize they're not as good as the originals, but like, it's been surprising. It's like, wow, I rewatch Attack of the Clones and I'm actually like, wait a minute, why did I dismiss this as the worst Star Wars movie? Like, before the sequels came out, it was always Attack of the Clones at the bottom. But then I'm like, wait a minute now, like, that
shit's got fucking flair, bro. Yeah. That shit's got it.
So I don't know. It's this really weird. It seems like there's a cycle that, like, the movies kind of evolve over time, and it's just I don't know. It's always just the people's opinions that kind of taint everything, I feel like. But it's just the more and more I watch them. I mean, yeah, you're right. There hasn't been a single movie that has been released that has not been just, oh my god, like, I'm in Star Wars mode when I'm watching those movies.
Exactly, man. I love it. I love it. It's hard for me to not love it. I don't know. Maybe that makes me a shill. Whatever. I don't care. I have a great time with it. I love it. But yeah, that's entertainment. Not to get all Vincente Minnelli on you, but that's entertainment. What do you got for me in science?
All right. Well, a possible sham. I don't know if I think it was back in 2019. We had the first ever image of a black hole released, memed like hell. Kind of looked like an owl's eye. I don't know. Like, it was just an orange blob. You know, just kind of in black space. Turns out this picture, we may be looking at it completely wrong, or the way that the image was gotten and obtained might have been a little bit fuzzy, actually, and not the way to go about it. Because really cool, to start off, the way this picture was taken, to take a picture of a black hole even in the first place, the thing is so far away, and to just have the resolution to make up a picture of a black hole and get the picture we want, any telescope that's been made by man is simply way, way too small. I mean, it's not even remotely close. You need something very, very big. The size of the Earth is like the smallest kind of telescope you would need in order to resolve a black hole. So we can't really make one mirror that's as big as the Earth. We haven't figured out quite how to do that. But what we've done is we've just combined telescopes all around the world that are all looking at the same location. And when you combine their data, it kind of, by proxy, makes a telescope the size of the Earth. And the more and more telescopes you add to it, the more and more the resolution increases. And as of right now, we only got 11 telescopes total that are looking at the sky, but it's still enough to make out something. Like the picture, it's not that it might be a fake and that it might not even be a black hole. We know for a fact that the black hole is there. We know the thing is there. We're just trying to, or I guess the picture and the data that we've taken off of it might be wrong. And it was a research team in Japan. The data for both pictures of our own black hole at the center of our galaxy and the first black hole that was taken, all of the data has been made public. All the code that they've used of how to get their final images, everything's been made public so that people can try to repeat it and make sure that it's real, like just kind of going through the scientific process there. And this team, they realized that whenever they're combining all of the pictures across the 11 different telescopes, they used a machine learning algorithm to kind of get rid of all the noise because these 11 telescopes, they're all complete, in separate locations of Earth. Earth is moving, Earth is spinning. There's a lot of just different factors that are going in. So when you try to combine the data, there's just natural kind of noise and fuzziness that's there of trying to kind of overlap 11 pictures at the same time and try to get them to line up. And naturally, overlapping those pictures kind of makes rings or circles kind of appear just by the overlapping. And it's not actual space or the actual, we're not actually seeing those rings in space. It's just an artifact of the telescopes themselves. And the research team is claiming that the machine learning algorithm, what it didn't really know that these circles or whatever were not real space, and they're kind of banking them in to the final image. And the way they kind of prove this, it's still kind of up in the air, and there's a debate going on between the Event Horizon team and this team in Japan. But they measured how big that these rings would be when you overlap the images, because it's just kind of geometry and taking where the telescopes are on the Earth, and apparently there's a repeating pattern that will emerge from overlapping these images, and you can calculate how big or the space between the repeating pattern. And they found that the spacing between that pattern and the space of the ring that is appearing in what we think is the black hole is the same exact size. So it's either a really, really weird coincidence that just it lines up this way and the size of the black hole happens to be this, or we kind of have to go about looking at the data in a different way. And they put out their own image of what they reconstructed with the machine learning algorithm, took this into fact, like they banked that in, and they kind of got a similar image, but just it was brighter on one side. Like the image doesn't really change a whole lot, but it does change the size of the size of it. I guess we thought it was a lot bigger. Now it would be a lot smaller. It's just so it's a kind of a developing story. It just happened the day before Halloween. Is kind of whenever this kind of got popular and stuff. So it's kind of the Event Horizon team is currently working on a response. They said to say why they still think they are right, they said, but they haven't. They said that there is a more detailed analysis coming out to show why they're right. But as what I've just read and heard, a lot of the scientific community is more on the side of this Japanese team, and they say that their data seems pretty legit. So yeah, I guess the moth image or whatever of the black hole could be changing soon, or we could find out that it is actually right. But regardless, I guess it's we will need just much bigger telescopes in order to actually make out this thing. And the crazy thing that I guess putting all of this kind of into scale is hard to do. But the first image of a black hole that we took, we looked at one that was massive, because the bigger the thing is, the easier it is just to take a picture of. And so whenever we try to look at our own black hole in the center of our galaxy, it is 1,600 times smaller than the image of the first black hole that we took. Wow. And so we're trying to look at this itty bitty speck comparatively to the bigger one that we saw, and just with telescopes all around Earth that is moving and spinning and trying to line them up. And it's just there's a whole lot of different factors that's going on to kind of just make this image not really, we don't know, I guess, what we're looking at. So it'll be cool to see if there is any updates on that soon, I guess. But as of right now, it's kind of up in the air if it is right or not. But so I guess I'll keep up with that. And see if there is any updates. But then, let's see, as of recording, it was 2 days ago, there was another solar flare, a coronal mass ejection, a pretty large one, not the largest one yet, but an X class, I guess the largest class of solar flare. Yes, and I don't know. They say
that those ones unlock the Phoenix.
Yes, I think the X gene is about. I think we're living through it. So everyone get ready for their mutations to kick in, and your parents to hate you and send you away. You're gonna have to find a school to go to anyway. But the classes of them, actually, I didn't really look at the scale, but it kind of works as like other hurricane scales or tornado scales sort of thing. But I don't know why they chose A, B, C. Seems pretty logical there. But then they go, after C, they go to M for whatever reason. And then after M is X. So A, B, C, M, X for whatever reason. But each letter, the next letter is 10 times stronger than the previous one. And then after the letter, you can put a number. So like the one a couple days ago was an X 2.3. Flare, which means it's 10 times stronger than an M times flare, but then also 2.3 times stronger than a regular X times flare. So this one is technically like a 2 or a 23 times stronger than an M time. I don't even know what that means, but I guess but these are really, really strong. I guess the strongest one that's been recorded was in October. It was October 3rd, and it was an X 9.7 as the strongest one that we've gotten so far. So we haven't quite needed a new letter, but there is if it gets to an X10, then that is whenever we would need, I guess, a Z or a Y. I don't know. I don't know what letter they would choose after that. But the flare itself, it was directed right at Earth, and it beamed like right in the Atlantic Ocean, and it actually caused radio blackouts all across the ocean and in some parts of South America and Africa. And it kind of was just going on as the Earth would rotate. Kind of different parts of the Earth were getting beamed, and radio blackouts were occurring. And that's kind of over now. But the Aurora Borealis, the part that everyone cares about, is, are we going to be able to see the northern lights or not? And sadly, the orientation of this one, it won't go as far south as us, but all of Canada and some of the just very, very northern states of the U.S. are about to see them probably tonight and for the next couple days, actually. So,
all right.
So yeah, a little
good news for our Minnesotan listeners.
Yeah, little light show. Go out, check out the sky. Regardless, if you're not going to see the Aurora Borealis, almost like every planet is up right now. If you go out early, Venus is like super bright and like obviously the only thing in the sky whenever it starts to get dark. So Venus is really cool to look at. There's Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars. They're all up at night, and it's kind of they're a little less obvious, I'd say, but it's just they're all up there. The sky is kind of going crazy right now, and the sun, specifically these solar flares and mass ejections, we've just started to just look at them a lot more often. Like we have telescopes constantly pointing towards the sun now. and we used to just not have that. And before, all of them were on Earth, Earth-based, but now we finally have had one become operational that's in space, that's pointed at the sun 24/7 now. And the first images came back from that, which just provides way more clarity. Like, you're not looking through the atmosphere. We're just in space, looking straight at the sun, with a little coronagraph. I think that's actually just a camera term. I don't think that's like a space term. I think a coronagraph is like just something that might be in cameras. I could be wrong on that, but all it is a we're looking at the sun, and if we were to look at it with a fully open lens, it would just break out the lens. I don't know, it'd just be way too bright. You couldn't see anything. So they just put a little circle of the size of the sun in the middle so that we can look at all the stuff around it. And I think that's like a filming technique. I don't know what it would be in film. But it might add like a vignette or something. I don't know. There's or something like that. But they're just using that up in a satellite up in space so that we can look at the sun 24/7 without burning its eyes off. But yeah, it's really cool. There's a website that is just like the sun's forecast. The NOAA is, I don't know, just kind of the national. What does it actually stand for? I don't know. But the Space Weather Prediction Center. That's not NOAA at all. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. There it is. But they just constantly have you can check to see if you're gonna see the northern lights that night and where it'll be. And then they also have like GIFs of just the coronal mass ejections that happen every day or whenever they happen. They have them up there. And then there's just like a live view of the sun that you can just kind of play. Like the Doppler radar, or like you're looking at the rain forecast, but you're just kind of checking out the sun. So I don't know, it is kind of cool now that I can just I have it bookmarked, so I just kind of see like, is there any northern lights tonight? But yeah, that's it for space news, I guess. There, and then back down on Earth. Just another Mayan city was discovered, a massive one, under a bunch of trees, just under a bunch of forest. And just the way that a bunch of these cities are being discovered now is just with drones and LIDAR, is so that sadly, before, like, the Amazon rainforest has just been cut down and deforested, just a bunch of deforestation, and that sucks. But that's also been just unveiling a bunch of these ancient cities that have just been hidden there forever. And then knowing that, people have just strapped some LIDAR onto some drones and flown them over trees, and we're just finding shit everywhere. And the city itself, it's not the largest city ever found that of the Mayan civilization. I guess they measure it by buildings per square kilometer or square miles. And the largest one that's been found is about 770 buildings per square kilometer. Wow. So yeah, it like a big ass civilization. I mean, it's kind of crazy. And I don't know, I kind of want to dive deeper into them. I don't know much about their civilization. I just know that I guess they mysteriously disappeared rather quickly, is the only thing I think that I kind of know about them. That could be wrong. But this city that was found is about 400 buildings per square kilometer. And I guess it's relatively the same size as Beijing. So that's wow. That's kind of like nuts to put into perspective, that a smaller city of the Mayan civilization is like a Beijing.
Was Beijing.
And yeah, so it's crazy to put that into like just 1,000 years ago. I think I think they disappeared around 900 AD, or was it C? I don't know, somewhere around 0. I don't know. So, but not like not too crazy long ago. But yeah, it's I don't know, very very strange, but very cool that I guess we're getting more of their cities discovered, not in harmful ways, not by cutting down these forests or anything, just by sending a little drone and flying over. But so that's kind of the science and I guess mini archaeology, not really any archaeology, just a drone flight, but things, two little just quick things I wanted to put in since I couldn't for Halloween. There were some on the website that I usually get my just science news from. They kind of did like this little Halloween special, kind of some scary stories or just things to check in on for Halloween. And there was a video of a lab that put vampire bats on treadmills in like an enclosed box so that they could measure their like oxygen, their breathing and shit like that, I guess. I don't know for what, but just seeing a vampire bat run on a treadmill.
Yeah, I saw this too.
It's just frightening. I don't know. It's just like they look like a I don't even know how to just like an exorcist crossed with a giraffe crossed with a like I don't
gorilla?
know. Gorilla crawl mixed with a run, and it's like ooh, the weird fucking Stranger Thing. I don't know. I feel like there's a Stranger
the
Things
Demogorgon
monster that. Maybe it's not
the Demodogs, the smaller ones.
Yeah, it's just terrible to look at. But I guess the study they were doing is to see apparently just vampire bats function like they don't. The more they exercise, they don't breathe harder like normal mammals do. They just they breathe at the same rate, and they use the blood off of their previous meal as their fuel to just kind of keep them going, which is just
horrifying.
That's very horrifying, so very scary. But that's all on They had vampire bats and then vulture bees. I didn't know these existed. I didn't need to know they existed. In audio form, it's not bad, but if you really want to scare yourself, look up what a vulture bee hive looks like. These things, they're bees, but they don't just pollinate, or they don't just, take pollen off flowers. They
scavengers?
Eat flesh. They eat, just raw flesh and meat. And there's pictures of them just on raw chicken, just biting it up and whatever. But their hives don't even that looks like something out of Stranger Things. I mean, it looks, if you have that like fear of holes or whatever, that like I don't know.
Oh god, yeah.
Don't look at it. It is fuel for that for sure. But I guess they make like a meat version of honey. And I guess it tastes really, really good. Is the only, but I am okay. I am okay never trying that in my life because their hives, all they do is they take this flesh back, they give it to other bees that are in there, and they just constantly eat it and throw it up and eat it and throw it up. And I guess maybe that's how honey's made too. It is just kind of bee poop and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't need to know that a swarm of bees could actually want to eat my flesh. But yep.
I just looked at vulture beehive.
Yeah. It's
don't like it.
It's
I don't like it.
It's like it looks like eggs and like this weird
it's
like
bad.
spider nesty. Yeah, it's disgusting. But yeah, so audio wise it's not bad. If you want to do it to yourself, go with the visuals. They're way worse. But yeah. That's all I have for science with the little, I guess, Halloween special.
All right.
At the end there.
All right. Then we'll get on to sports. Since we last convened, the World Series was won by the Dodgers. Hell yeah. Pretty handily, too. Wasn't even close. Not much news there. Freddie Freeman won the World Series MVP after a walk-off grand slam in Game 1, which was fucking awesome. I didn't watch any more after that besides the last pitch. So there's that.
Man, and that grand slam, the one person sitting down in the crowd in the background, do you know? Like, they are wearing a hat, a very specific red hat. Everyone else in the crowd is standing up and going crazy. There is one person sitting down front row, and they're wearing that. I don't know. It's just
I'm sure you're not happy about that. I'm sure you're not happy about the Yankees winning, huh? Or losing, huh? Fucking. Yeah, so that's baseball. But then football, I had another good week last week. We obviously didn't get to do the picks on the air, but I went 12-3, which is I'm on a hot streak right now. And it continued last night as I did pick the Ravens over the Bengals, and they won 35-34.
Okay.
But week 10, here are my picks for week 10. We've got the Giants and Panthers over in Germany. Ugly ass game. This is payback, is what I like to call this. It's just salting the wound. But I'm gonna go with ugly ass game, bro. Ugly ass game. I don't even know. I guess I'll go with the Giants. Fuck it. Panthers beat the Saints last week, but the Saints are ass too. They just looked like they were going to be good in the first 2 weeks, and then they just fell off a fucking cliff. Yeah, I'll go with the Giants. Fuck it. Patriots versus Bears. I'm going to go with the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Bears. 49ers at Bucks. That's tough. The Bucks took us to overtime last week. We locked the fuck in, by the way. Every team should be fucking frightened given the way that we play when things matter. But, yeah, I'll go Buccaneers there. Give the 49ers another loss. I'd like that.
Okay.
Broncos versus Chiefs. I'm going Chiefs.
Have to.
Gotta be the Chiefs. Gotta be the Chiefs. Bills at Colts. Gonna have to be the Bills. I think Steelers at Commanders. Ooh. High power defense versus high power offense. I like that. It's a good combo. I think I might go with the Commanders here. Give another AFC team another loss. I'd like that. And plus the Commanders are hot, man. I like them. I like them a lot. Yeah, I'll go with the Commanders. Vikings at Jaguars. Vikings. Easy. Let's go Falcons at Saints. We're going to go with the Falcons. Let's go Titans at Chargers. I'm going to go Chargers at home. Feels the Titans are fucking terrible and Chargers are pretty fucking good. So, easy choice there. Jets at Cardinals. I'm going to go with the Jets. I picked the Texans over the Jets last week, and the Jets kind of showed that they've got something. You know, they've got a little something. They're not good, but they got a little something. So, I like the Jets there. Eagles at Cowboys. Man, the Cowboys are fucking trash this year, huh? I'm going to go with the Eagles. The Cowboys have just been overwhelmingly bad. Been a rough year for them. But Lions at Texans on Sunday Night Football. I'm going with Lions. Dolphins at Rams on Monday night. I'm going to go with the Rams. So that's week 10. And then Thursday night of week 11, Commanders at Eagles. I'm going to go with the Commanders there as well. And those are the NFL picks for the week. Yes. And we can take it to news. If
you had to
drop the episode off.
I guess, if you had to drop one of those picks for the bet, I guess, would it be the ugly-ass Giants and Panthers pick?
It probably would be, actually. I feel pretty good about everything else. If it wasn't, I mean, if you drop two, I would drop Giants and Panthers and Steelers Commanders. Those are the ones that I don't feel good about.
Steelers Commanders. Okay. Well,
Steelers Commanders could go either way.
I'm putting the bet in live, and I want to, because I don't know, there was a week that I fucked up. I fucked up so bad.
It didn't end up mattering. Sunday Night Football didn't go my way. Or Monday night. I can't remember which it was. I think it was Sunday night though. Yeah, it was week 8. Was it? No, it would have been earlier than that.
Yeah, it's the week. I don't know. That was in Branson, I guess. Whenever that would have been, but yeah, I'm terrible. I'm terrible with dates, but I guess the Dolphins and Rams and I guess the last two picks that you had, I just want to make sure I have them in there.
It was week 6. It was week 6.
Okay.
Week 6 I went 100% going into Sunday night. And then I took a huge swing and picked the Giants over the Bengals. Bengals ended up winning that game. But you put it in that I had the Raiders over the Steelers, and I had the Steelers over the Raiders. It's okay, though, because it didn't end up mattering. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. But yeah, so with that, I think we can move on to news, which is that Donald Trump beat Kamala Harris in the 2024 election, which it's a bit concerning. Handily beat her, too. Like, the worst beating a Democrat's gotten in 40 years, 50 years, something like that. It's concerning, like one of the things that I always like to take solace in that's been a little bit tough is, a Star Wars quote, and specifically The Rise of Skywalker, which is, the way, that's how they beat you, by making you feel alone. There are more of us. And this week it felt a little tough to believe that, It felt a little tough to believe there are more of us. However, if you want to know how bad of a campaign Kamala Harris and her team ran, Donald Trump got 1 million less votes than he did in 2020.
No.
Kamala Harris got 15 million less votes than Joe Biden did in 2020.
No.
Which means there was 15 million registered voters who decided to abstain from voting this year because they didn't feel that they had a candidate that was apt enough for it. which a lot of people are blaming the voting populace. That is not on the voting populace. That is on the candidate. It is on a candidate to earn your vote. Mm-hmm. It is. You know, I know lesser of two evils. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't. You know, one of the things that a lot of people have been going on and on and on about is third party voting. You know, if you voted for third party, you lost. You lost through the election. If you add up all the third party votes and all the swing states, and you add it to Kamala's total, she still doesn't beat him. Mm-hmm. She still doesn't beat him. Every state. That's tough. That's a terrible fucking campaign. That's a terrible election. It was horrendous. Now, I'm no political expert, you know. But I fucking hate Donald Trump. I fucking hate him with every fiber of my being. I think he is scum. I think he's one of the worst people alive. And I am deeply concerned for the queer community. The trans community most particularly feels the most at risk. I just want all of our trans listeners and all of my trans friends to know that I love you. You know, the love that we have for you here is greater than any of the hate that they have in their hearts for you. Your very existence is a triumph of the revolutionary spirit. And no matter what they may do over the next 4 years, you're you know, and fuck what they got to say.
Yeah.
I hate these motherfuckers, man.
I saw, someone on Twitter, in the trans community, and they said, it's time to exercise your right. It's time to use the Second Amendment. You know,
it's time to buy a gun.
Strap up. I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird, definitely a weird kind of era to live through. I'm just, it is. I'm just, you know, I don't want to say lucky, but just my particular demographic.
Privileged.
Yeah, me. Yeah, privileged. I am very unaffected. You know, I am actually benefited by this election.
100%.
So it's very just weird to even speak.
It's bizarre.
On certain matters,
it is bizarre.
But
yeah. No, it's a weird place to be, and it gives us a platform that a lot of other people won't get. You know, it gives us an opportunity to actually say things that a lot of people don't have the privilege to say. And, you know, I think that that's an important thing to take advantage of, especially when we do a podcast. And, you know, it's something that, if there's something to talk about, we'll talk about it, you know. It is concerning. I think it's sad. It's really sad. One of the things that I think people have been pointing a lot to that is quite disturbing is that, you know, how many people will be deported because Trump won office again. I hate to break it to you, bro. Joe Biden has deported every bit as many people as Trump did.
What?
You know? Yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing. It's just different clothing, man. It's different. We're a fucking, like, everything is filtered through lenses. And the Democrats are the nice ones, the Republicans are the mean ones, and the Democrats just do it with a smile on their face. You know, like that's the thing. Is that like it's tough, man. The most concerning thing for me is women's rights, the continued mistreatment of immigrants. It's horrific. And then again, the LGBTQ community. It definitely, the community's taking the hits the worst. Just some horrific things being said online the last couple days in wake of Trump's win. At least Missouri, where we live, we did the abortion ban was lifted, at least for now, which is huge. That's incredible. You know, and I don't know precisely how these things work on a federal level versus a state level. You know, like federally, marijuana is still illegal, but state-wise, you can still get weed. And, you know, now abortion is legal in Missouri, and I'm sure Trump will assume office and make it federally illegal, but I don't know how that affects state law. And I'm not a political expert. Like I said, I'm not a legislative expert. I don't know how things work like that. It's frightening though. It's scary. But I've had a lot of time to sit with this. I was really angry on Wednesday. I posted a lot of stuff I probably shouldn't have posted.
The whole nation had a very emotional day, whether you're on the winning side or the losing side.
Yeah.
It's
I said a bunch of stuff that I don't regret. I mean it. But it's not the time or the place. Yeah,
I don't know. It is funny though that whenever a candidate does lose, Kamala isn't screaming for a recount or anything. She's just taking the loss.
Yeah,
civilly.
you lost. Yeah. When you lose, you lose.
I mean, this isn't probably the majority of people, but I'm seeing just right-winged people think that since they are taking the loss so civilly, that can only mean one thing, and that they are planning something in the background to have more votes to come in, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, that's just actually what candidates
That's how normal people handle things.
Whenever
that's how normal That's how normal people handle things. It's infuriating that these people who cheered on an insurrection and cheer on hate and all of these things are actually being rewarded for that. Because sadly, that is not the majority of Republicans, voting Republicans. What I will say is a lot of Republicans are voting for, the economy and for themselves. It'll benefit me. Now that doesn't make you hateful in the traditional sense by any stretch of the imagination, but Trump did run the most hateful campaign he's ran yet. The most blatantly racist, transphobic, misogynist campaign he's ran yet, and he won by a very wide margin. So if you were willing to ignore those things and vote for him anyway, if you were like, I don't agree with those things, but I think he can help me, that is selfish. By the very definition of what the term selfish means, that is selfish. And one of the things that I posted the other day that I should have worded better was that if you voted for Donald Trump, it's crazy that I can take full confidence that in every way I am a better person than you. And I do mean that, but I should have worded it better, because it is not by any virtue of mine that I think I am a better person than you, or that I think anybody who didn't vote for Trump is a better person than you. It is by a lack of virtue on the part of those that did vote for him. It's not a cocky, I'm the best type thing. It's not. I don't think I'm better than fucking anybody, but I'm confident I'm better than you. Like that's more the way I wanted to say it. It didn't come off that way. I was called all sorts of things. I mean, Wednesday I got called 3 different slurs. I got called ugly. Online was a rough place to be Wednesday. It was a rough time. It was a rough time. But getting called ugly by a Nazi is basically getting called pretty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't really. I guess I'm glad that I am just kind of chronically offline, and that I don't know that I didn't even have the want to post anything. But the part that I just kind of hate the most, and that gets under my skin, is that like just because I live in Missouri, my vote for the president basically doesn't matter. If I lived in Texas, my vote for the president definitely doesn't matter. If I lived in California, it definitely doesn't matter. It's like what I don't know. It's like it's crazy that it's even if you have a strong will towards one candidate or the other, depending on where you live, can just basically make your vote null and void. And that
null and void. Well, and that's the thing, though, is that the things that were important were our amendments, our ballot measures, and everything I wanted to passed. The lift on the abortion ban, sports betting barely passed. I don't know if you saw that. It got 50.1% of the vote.
Wow.
Where the don't legalize sports betting got 49.9% of the vote, which is fucking crazy.
Holy shit. Dang.
It was very, very close.
Did the other boat in Ozark get approved? I didn't actually look at that.
No, that did not. Okay. That did not get approved.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy. Like I'm hypocritical, I guess, because I did say yes for the sports gambling or for in Missouri to sports bet, but then I said no for the casino in the Ozarks, and it's I don't know. I guess
we
the
got
propaganda,
a ton of casinos, man.
I guess the propaganda of it benefiting the schools got me. I'm like, well, at least if it's in there that money is going to schools,
at least there's something.
I don't know,
and like it's like and even then it's like hardly fucking anything. But still, no, that's why I'm like, your votes when it comes to the Electoral College, it's rough. You know, it is rough because we in Kansas City, in Columbia, and St. Louis. Mm-hmm. That shit's blue. That shit's blue as fuck. Kansas City, Columbia, and St. Louis, the population centers.
Yeah.
You know, the places where people are.
Yeah, where a lot more people are.
Where a lot more people are. Like, she didn't lose Missouri by a ton, you know? And there were only 3 areas that were blue.
Yeah, it's... I wonder...
Which is fucking crazy.
Like... If we were just to do a straight up popular vote, I understand why the Electoral College is made, and I understand the representation of mass populations and stuff, but I don't it feels that with the Electoral College and just knowing that your vote won't matter gets a large majority of the population just to not vote and just be like, well, my vote doesn't matter.
discourage voting. Yeah, it does. I think.
Yeah.
So. Now, obviously, with the popular vote this year, it's the first time Trump's won the popular vote. Like it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
Which is insane, by the way, that the 3rd time he's running, he wins the popular vote. I feel like we have more reason to not like him now, but hey,
I wonder...
gas better be a fucking $1 per gallon.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean...
If this is what it's about, gas better be a fucking... The prices on things better be halved, and they won't be, because that's horse shit. The president doesn't decide those things. Oh my God, you fucking morons. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of it is just like, Kamala was in the previous administration. She is the vice president right now, and the state of the world right now is not good. We just need whoever else it is. It just sucks that whoever else happens to be Donald Trump.
But
like I feel like it's that it is we need something to change, and we don't like how the nation is right now, but also the global conflicts that are going on is that I feel like people just didn't trust that administration to deal with the global conflicts that are going, like we need to fix a lot of our shit here at home. We have a lot of bad stuff going on, but man, the world has a lot of fixing that it needs.
Everything. Well, and that's the thing, is that I just don't know how you look at Trump and you go, well, that's the guy. That's why I'm like, I don't know. I
think
I'll
just
never understand it.
It's just that people know that he's not gonna, he's gonna tell people that, he's gonna draw a line in the sand. It's sad. I don't know, his stances on Israel and all of that are one thing. It's
well, and that's the thing, is that like that's why I'm mostly pissed at the campaign Kamala ran. She pushed center, trying to steal Republican votes. That was her goal. I need to appeal to Republicans, which is never the fucking move. Don't do that. Why would you do that? That was horrendous. Because 6% of registered Republicans voted for Joe Biden in 2020. She pushed for center even harder and got less of the Republican vote.
Yeah.
That's because when you push right, when you push center as a Democrat, it makes people think, well, maybe the Republican's right then. If you feel you need to go center, maybe I need to go right. And there's not a lot of median voters who are on the fence anymore, but the people that are, that's what you're telling them, And I don't know. I think that it's really complicated with the 2-party system, and I think that there were a lot of ways that the Kamala campaign could have been ran a lot better. Promoting that Dick Cheney is on your side is a fucking horrendous move. I don't know why you thought that was a good idea. Dick Cheney is notoriously one of the most evil men who's ever fucking lived. Confirmed to have tortured people during the Iraq War with pulling George Bush's strings. You're a candidate who people are concerned isn't speaking for herself. And then you add someone like Dick Cheney to your team, who notoriously controlled George Bush. I don't know. Like, I don't know what you're fucking thinking there. This important Republican vice president doesn't believe in Donald Trump. That clearly doesn't matter. I don't know, like a ton of Republicans don't like Donald Trump. Like, there was just so much that I was like, holy shit. So 2028, I've cooled on my idea that we won't have an election in 2028. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to be hopeful. I do think there's a distinct possibility that the 22nd Amendment gets repealed, and that we lift term limits.
Oh God. I mean, because it could be like justified as wartime, and it needs to be blah blah
exactly.
blah.
Exactly.
But if this happens, it does seem all bad, and it does seem like Trump will be forever ruler. But imagine the third term from Barack Obama. He'd come back.
That's why that's why I'm like, and frankly, it's I have very, very little faith that Trump will be good. No faith, actually. I have no faith that Trump will be good. My best hope is he's not as awful as I think he's going to be. I pray that good prevails. I pray that good people everywhere prevail. That's what I want. I want goodness to win. And I don't know. I have faith. I have hope, and I think that's important. Now there does need to be action. That's obviously you can't just hope things will get better without doing something. So like we'll fucking see. We'll fucking see.
So it's a simple picture. I don't know. I guess it's just it was a big fish coming in and about to eat, a bunch of smaller fish, and all the smaller fish were going away because they were scared of the one big fish. And then, but then the lower part of the graphic is them all turning at the same time on the one big fish. Yeah, and then it's no problem.
There are more of us.
The people
there are more
still
of us.
remain, and I think that's kind of been lost. Is that people are praising each candidate, no matter which side of the party you're on, more so on the right. People literally kind of looked at him as like a faith figure, almost.
Messiah.
But like, they are public servants. They are supposed to serve the public, and we're like, and it's the other way around.
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Say what you will about the Republican Party. I fucking despise it. I do not like the Republican Party. They did what a political party is supposed to do. They saw the way that their base was going, and they went, let's go that way. The Democrats saw the way that their base was going and said, let's rein them in, which is not the way to go. You follow the will of the people. That is the responsibility of the political party. You do not follow your whims, try to control people. Your people decide which way you go. Now, it's just shit luck that the Republican Party's people happen to grow ever more disdainful, but that is because of their leadership. Like that and that's what's interesting, is that the Democratic Party has moved further left despite their leadership, and the Republican Party has moved further right because of their leadership. And it's fascinating to see that dichotomy, and to see which side of it actually wins.
Man,
so I
don't
know.
I also hate that in Civil War, the movie, that Nick Offerman just kind of resembles J.D. Vance. And that just...
I can't believe that fucking guy's our vice president, or he's going to be. Frightening. Frightening that dude's our vice president. The solace I take is that Kamala and Pence and Biden, before he was actually president, seemed to not do shit. So like that's a whole other thing. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, and frankly, that's what's frightening, is that I do think I'd rather have Trump as a president than J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is fucking oh my God. Maybe I wouldn't, though. Maybe the Republican Party would fucking flounder under J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is clearly not a charismatic leader. He clearly doesn't have what it takes. Maybe that is what they need. Maybe they do need J.D. Vance to be president. Maybe that'll tear the Republican Party down. I don't know. But regardless, we'll take another look-see through this part here. But, yeah, I don't know. It's discouraging, but I haven't lost all hope that things can get better. You can't lose hope that things will get better.
Yeah. Well,
like I said,
I don't know.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's 4 more years, which does sound like a long time, but we did it once before. You know, it did happen, and we are still here. 8, you know, many more than 4 years after. We're still kicking. The wheel in the sky.
God, it feels like so fucking long ago, man. It feels like so fucking long ago, though. Like I look back and I'm like, the entire time I've been with Emily, Joe Biden had been elected right before we met each other.
Whoa.
You know, like
oh, whoa! That really does.
January 6th. January 6th happened a month into our relationship.
Holy crap!
You know,
oh
like,
my God! Dang,
that's so long ago. We're coming up on our 4-year anniversary. You know, so like I look back on the period of time when Trump was president and where I was at my life, and it's bizarre. It's bizarre to think about that. It was the second half of my junior year, my entire senior year, the time I spent down at Mizzou, and then the time I came home and started working the job I work now. The podcast started during the Trump regime. Like that's
damn.
That's
damn,
crazy.
that's a
It's crazy to think
fact.
about.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn it. I don't know. I guess it just happens to be the time we got her going. But man, yeah, that's that is you and Emily getting together right after, like I guess when Joe Biden wins. That's
a month after the election. A month after the election. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's like it's been a long fucking time. You know, like it's been a long fucking time. Which is why like 4 years goes by hella quick, and then I look back and I'm like, holy shit, that was so long ago. You know, so like it's just the passage of time. I hope these next 4 years pass and they're incapable of doing the things they want to get done. I worry that they won't be that won't be the case. The Supreme Court is in Trump's pocket and the Republican Party's pocket, and the Senate is in their favor, and hopefully the Democrats get the House. But regardless, it's just it's a worrisome time. And when things change again, I'll be 28. You know, I'll be 29. And that's bizarre. That is bizarre. But hey, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll run for House of Representatives.
Hey.
You know, maybe we'll see.
What's the age
we can affect change from within.
For that, is it
24?
Oh,
yeah, 24.
Okay.
We can run for the House of Representatives. However, I looked into it. There's only 8 representatives for Missouri. There's only 8 districts. I didn't realize it was that few. I was like, shit, how hard can it be to run for House of Representatives?
yeah.
And then I looked into it. I was like, oh, that's there's not many options. And then I looked at our district and I'm like, oh, that's a pretty giant red swath of people.
Yeah, but
it would be, that's the challenge. That's the challenge.
It felt like you would have to have been a governor or some mayor or something to get in, but now.
No, I think I could run for public office.
Yeah. Obviously, look who's the current president of the United States.
Exactly.
Their application is a lot worse than yours. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not a convicted felon. I'm not a rapist. It feels like I probably have a better shot at being president than Donald Trump on paper.
Damn, he did it twice. Holy fuck. It's like, what the fuck? But
yep.
But
that's here. That's 3 straight presidential terms where I am confident I am smarter than the president. Which is that's disturbing. That's disturbing.
But he uses the
at least I never
words.
felt that way with Obama.
Yeah.
At least I never felt that way with Obama,
That's true.
Obama, hey man, I've got my fucking issues with Obama. He dropped more drone strikes than any president in history. Even still to this day, I'm pretty sure that's a fact. Which is crazy. So like, I've got my fucking issues with him. At least he was fucking presidential. At least I thought he was a fucking president. Like and that's a low fucking bar, and it sucks that the bar is that fucking low. But dude, I mean, we're here. We are here. But yeah, so Trump's president, and we're going to do what we can, you know?
Yep.
Me and Emily have been looking into ways to volunteer in certain places and help, get into organizations and stuff like that. And it feels right for the picking. It feels like the time. So, maybe we get some Penny Bloom charitable action going soon. But yeah. Just do something, man. Just to do something. But yeah, I think with that we can conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom Dispatch. If you would, head to TikTok, follow at Penny Bloom Dispatch. I'm posting stuff pretty much daily over there. It's a lot of fun. I'm trying to keep the spirits up, trying to spread positivity as much as I can. It feels like an important thing to do. Let's see. You can follow on Twitter at PennyBloomPod, and we will be dispersing everything we've got going on from there. We've got the Sentimentalists. As of today, we released our episode on Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we'll be covering the Indiana Jones franchise for the next 5 weeks. Very exciting stuff. You got to go check that out. Let's see. Next Monday is the conclusion of The Penguin. We are very, very close to the end of that show there, so you got to check that out on Death by Television. On Wednesdays, we do Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast, and we are currently rewatching Rebels. We will be covering Skeleton Crew in full over there, so you got to check that out as well. But yeah, with that, I think we can conclude this episode. Leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you might be listening and download the episode. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And the way they win is by making you feel alone. There are more of us.